Hello. So I am recording from my webcam, and I don't know what it is, but this morning I had a bit of inspiration and kind of just wanted to wing it and record something. So here I am. I literally just woke up, aside from laying in bed for maybe 30-40 minutes and contemplating life and all the things. You'll have to excuse my really shitty lighting because this is a very old webcam and I have literally done everything that I possibly could to make it bright in here, yet I still look orange. Maybe I'll try this. No, now you just can't see anything. I don't know. So I look orange. I do not normally look this orange, but apparently I'm going to be orange today. So I realized that I have not recorded anything in months, obviously. For anyone who's going to be watching this, you know this. Or if you're new here, you're going to maybe discover that I recorded something back in January. I kind of wanted to give this YouTube thing a shot, and I had a lot of ideas. I had a lot of videos that I wanted to make, and now some of those ideas are not as fresh, they're not as relevant. Before I get into all of that, straight up, this is going to be a vlog. I am not editing this, I am not cutting anything from this, I give no fucks right now. I am just recording shit. Excuse my language for the easily offended, but there's guaranteed to be more of that. This year has been full of lots of challenges, and to be honest, I would say that I haven't even thought about turning back to this much. I'm not quite sure why. It hasn't really... Well, okay, let me backtrack there. I know why. It hasn't been as important. There hasn't been time for it. I don't know how much time there'll be for it after this. But I will give you the updates. The updates are back in January when I decided to be ambitious and creative and create a introductory video for my new YouTube channel, or repurposed YouTube channel. Shit got pretty fucked up in my life. It was already pretty fucked up in my life, and there's a variety of different things that have happened between now and then that have kind of contributed to, I don't know, everything that's happened. I am sure that for those of you that know me a little bit better, I was in a long-term relationship and I was living with the person, and it wasn't going very well. So on that note, all the video recording software belonged to my ex-boyfriend, whose video recording software is no longer in my possession. So I don't have a fancy microphone, and I don't have... Well, his camera I don't think was anything special. It was just a webcam attached to a large TV in our living room. So nothing special there. But I think that it has better lighting than this webcam. I'm actually using a webcam on a computer that's at least 6 years old and built into the computer. So, we separated, I would say. He officially moved out around the beginning of March, or the very end of February, something around that time frame. So it's been a couple of months, but it was supposed to not necessarily be a breakup initially. We were going to try to work things out, and the distance was supposed to be useful, both emotionally, financially, on a variety of different levels. But it didn't really work out. He moved back to New Jersey and quite far away, many miles away, but it wasn't something that really worked out over time, and I don't know how much I'll get into that, but that was and still continues to be, honestly, a big portion of what I have been dealing with this year. The other biggest thing, which some of you may have heard my various rants about, is that a while ago, more than a year ago now, I injured my left ankle. And it's kind of funny because there's no grand story for how I did this. I didn't like fall and trip and hurt myself. I didn't have some accident or anything. It's actually kind of easy to tear some ligaments in your ankle, which is what I did. Oh, and now my video looks like it froze. I don't know what happened. Oh, no, okay. Sorry, that might just be me. I partially tore 2 ligaments in my left ankle, and the fun thing about ligaments, or rather the not so fun thing about ligaments, is that once you tear them, there's no guarantee that they will ever heal properly, and it's highly likely that you'll never heal 100%. In some cases, it can result in ongoing issues, it can result in chronic pain. I've been searching for answers for months. I've been in and out of casts. I've done months and months of physical therapy. I continue to do physical therapy exercises because I have tapped out as much physical therapy as I could have on my insurance, but, you know, it is what it is. I have dealt with the pain and the annoying sensation of it always hurting to do basic shit like walk to the store or exercise in any way, shape, or form. It's been very challenging because my activity has gone from, let's say it's like moderate, somewhere around here, to like I have to be way down here. This means cooking less. This means trouble standing. This means I can't do certain things, like I can't do certain stretches, and I used to take Zumba classes. That's a big fucking no. Anything with jumping is out of the question. But, you know, it hasn't all been so terrible, and I've tried to be patient and tried to deal with this, but, I mean, it's improved. And there was a time that I was able to actually go to the gym for several months, and it really increased my strength and my range of motion. It was like thinking of like something like knotted up like this that you just can't untangle, and slowly it kind of fluttered, but was still like you couldn't, like I couldn't move in certain ways, and I still can't. Like stairs are still kind of funny, like, you know, the way your foot bends down when you take the next step, like, you know, like the biggest forms of motion are bending like my foot backwards at the ankle and then kind of like downwards. And I've worked on downwards, but now this like really kind of has some tightness. But moving on from that, the troubling thing is, and again, excuse my weird, wacky lighting. I see it's being funky, but I think this looks better. The funny thing is that I developed something in my other foot, the non-injured foot, called plantar fasciitis, which is basically like if you look at your foot, like let's say this is your foot, this is the bottom of your foot. In this area that like connects to the heel of your foot, this area gets kind of inflamed and irritated, and it connects directly to that heel, and in here I think it's like a ligamentous fiber, this whole thing, and this also runs like up your leg into your calf. This whole area gets irritated, and it can be quite painful, and you know there's a couple of things that cause this, like not walking properly, like your gait is kind of off, not having proper support, being overweight. Like there's a variety of different potential factors But for me, I have very high arches, and I don't think I had enough support, and I had worn out shoes and very bad insoles, I would say, and I kind of developed this thing. And I tried everything in the book. It's very easy to identify what this is. So I went online and I have this symptom and that one, and what does this mean? And it's like, oh, okay, you have plantar fasciitis. And I did go to a doctor to confirm this, but yeah, I looked up everything that you could do for this, and there's lots of stretching and icing and certain shoes that you buy and like various support that you need. And I tried it all, but I also tried these New Balance shoes. I don't really invest in expensive sneakers. I don't really necessarily find that they're better quality than sneakers that, even though they've gone up in price, you could buy it somewhere like Payless or whatever. But I bought New Balance sneakers because they were highly recommended to me, and they seemed to fit the bill for all the kinds of things that I was looking for to deal with this condition. It helped with the plantar fasciitis, but now there's pain on the side of my foot, and it hasn't gone away for weeks. I went to the doctor. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I did another MRI because this hasn't subsided, and I actually should be getting back results from that soon. So I've had to drastically decrease my activity again, because even though I can suck it up and deal with the pain on the other ankle, now I can't walk properly at all without pain. Like, worse than the other side, and it could be from compensating for this injury too over time. But you know, that's made a lot of things kind of challenging to do. I haven't, I mean, some of you that might be watching this know that I used to go out to all these goth parties and go out dancing and clubs and whatever, and I've also frozen again, and I don't know if it's me or my computer or what is even. Maybe I'll just close things because my computer's freaking out. So, I'm working? Okay, I think I'm back. I've paused this video on whatever random recording software I have downloaded. Debit by NCH software. I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's recording my video. Bottom line, I haven't been able to walk properly for the better part of a year and 1 to 2 months now. So I've had to drastically change a lot of things in my life. I can't walk to the train anymore. I actually don't live right next to the train. I live maybe a 20-minute walk from the train. I can't do that anymore. I can do some exercising, but more so on like my upper body right now. So I have to be pretty fucking careful with what I do. I can't go out dancing. I can't do hula hooping anymore, something else I also really like, but I'm trying to be patient because there's nothing else I can do, and come to terms with the fact that this is not permanent, it's not forever. I might be immobilized in what I can do, but it kind of just is what it is. So if you don't see me at parties or out, or if I say no to going to a bar or a club, you know it's because I can't fucking walk. But really, it's not all the time as bad as I'm making it sound or bitching about it. It's just kind of one of those inconvenient facts of life. People get injured, they get hurt. I didn't injure myself in a particular way with my initial injury. I actually went on a job interview. I wore these really crappy shoes because they were the I would say like the most fancy looking shoes I had for a job interview. And they hurt, but then I changed into sneakers right after, and I went to the park, I hula hooped, and I walked back and forth. I was very active that day, and I was sore, but I woke up in like excruciating pain, and you know, apparently like your ligaments could be like this. They're like all connected, nice and neat and pretty, but then like it could tear here, or it could tear like this, or like in the middle somewhere. Like it could be something that like the last little shred was like holding on and then it ripped. So it could have been like anything. Like there's no way to really know, even though like an MRI can tell you, hey, you have a tear, like there's no way to really like pinpoint what happened. So I'm just kind of winging it to the best of my ability. But that's not my entire life. That's just a part of it, and it's temporary. It's for now. I'm still myself. I'm still doing lots of things, but you know, with the breakup and with this, those two things alone made this year pretty challenging. I've lost some really close friends throughout this year. I would say I'm a fairly social person. There's a lot, like, I love hanging out with people. I'm a little bit more of an extrovert rather than an introvert, which is a little challenging when, you can't, like, get out and about. But, I would say I've always had, like, a core group of girlfriends. I've had, like, 4 really close friends, and in the past 6 months, I've lost 2 of those friends. For completely different reasons, One of them, we wound up having like a bad argument, and I'm not really gonna get too into that. The other one, we just kind of drifted apart. We weren't getting along either, but we had different views about things, and there's some things I probably said or did that were shitty, and there's some things that I really feel that she said and did that were shitty, so it's not there anymore. And it's hard because, I've actually had some of, like this core group of friends that I mentioned, like, these are people I've known for 10 plus years in some cases, and we've been friends a very long time, but unfortunately, as you get older, that's the harsh reality, is that some people don't click with you anymore. You are always evolving and growing, and so are they, I would hope, I would assume, and sometimes the directions that you take in life don't align, and it happens. But it's made it a little bit challenging not having the right kind of support network in a time when I really need the right one. And while I have lots of male friends that have been, great, they've been super helpful, like I've had people that were just there for me in some of the hardest times that I just was a mess. I think there's something, when you are a woman, I think there's something in particular about having friendships with other women that is really important, and that's something I'm kind of working on and looking for. I basically want to find my tribe, and however long it takes. I mean, I can't just like invent it out of thin air, but I also can't falsely create it either and force it, so we'll see where that leads me. The other thing that has happened this year is that I had a really close friend pass away back in April, and I don't really have experience with death in my life. I've had a few people that I know die in the past, but no one that I was particularly very close with or had a close relationship with. And that was pretty hard to deal with, and sometimes it still is. We hadn't really been talking for a few months, I would say. A couple of months. We'd maybe texted like a month before this happened. He was living in Jersey, which kind of made spending time together pretty challenging. But, we were very close. I would say it was pretty hard to deal with, and still is sometimes, But again, like, this is the chaos of life, and you can't really change these things, so accepting it has been hard. Blah. No, wait, okay, I'm on again. I'm trying not to get all emotional in here. Wow, I literally paused this thing for like 2 seconds, the lighting changed so much. But actually, how I lost one of those girlfriends of mine that I mentioned was through an argument about this kind of thing where She didn't really feel like I was there for her enough at the time, and I was kind of dealing with the loss of my friend, and she was dealing with the loss of a relationship, and it just went all downhill. And it's really unfortunate because I wish that it was different and could be worked out, but I'm not really interested in reaching out to her because I don't really feel great about what happened. So, moving on. That's a lot of negative shit. But again, life isn't always pretty. Life isn't always fun and comfortable and doesn't always feel great. Something I'm working on accepting is that things aren't always going to be pleasurable. They're not always going to be comfortable. You're not always going to get what you want. I actually read this book earlier this year that is quite popular in the self-improvement, self-development world, I would say. It is called... Sorry, my throat is like so dry. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, by Mark Paris? I don't remember his last name, but it's pretty widely available, and it's a short read. I actually highly recommend it. It was very useful to me, and if anything, I would say it's the book that stuck with me the most this year. Each chapter is kind of about a different thing, a different area of life, if you will, or a different thing that you might have to deal with in life. And I would say especially like the chapter on relationships is like, this is like 90s philosophy with relationships, and I believe one chapter is dedicated to like this whole, not everything's going to be fun, not everything's going to be pleasurable, and if you don't accept that and kind of get on board with that, and especially like if we aren't raising people with this like mindset, and we raise them with the mindset that everything is all comfortable and fun and happy and peaceful and sweet, and nothing's gonna hurt you, then you're not really set up to actually really engage with life in a way that is realistic. Like, you're not going to be prepared for the harsh reality of what life is actually like, which is that it's a whole mashup of chaos and craziness, and you can't always control it, and that's how it is. So I'm trying to get more comfortable with the fact that life is not always comfortable. So yeah, I highly recommend reading that book. Other stuff though is, there are some positive things that I'm working on in my life. So I've already graduated from college. I have a great job. I love my job. My job also offers some benefits towards if you want to continue with your education, and it is something that I've always wanted to do. I always knew I would turn back to for a variety of reasons. I think in this world, in America at least, you have to be very competitive with your credentials, and I want to stay on top of the game. I don't want to, look back, I don't know, let's say 20 years from now and find my skill set irrelevant or my credentials irrelevant in a world that's constantly evolving. So I want to pursue getting a master's degree. In order to do that, you need to take the godforsaken GRE test, which I'm discovering is like a pain in the fucking ass. It's like almost a 4-hour test that requires analytical skills, like they call it like analytical writing. They call another section like verbal reasoning. Another one is like quantitative something, but basically I need to refresh all my math skills, which for me is kind of hard because the work that I do is very automated and everything calculates for me with formulas. So for those of you that don't know, I work in research, and then I need to learn lots of new vocabulary words. So it'll be like a question that has like 5 different vocabulary words that are like crazy, and I'm supposed to figure out what they mean or how they're used, and like there's a variety of different questions. But at this point, I have about a month to do this. So I've got my work cut out for me. Otherwise, I wind up waiting to take classes till like next September, like a year from now. And I'm not about that life. So I'd like to get the ball rolling here. So I have about a month, a little over a month to study for this. And I already started several weeks ago, but at the rate that I need to go, I need to study somewhere between 1.5 and 3 hours per day, every day. So that long MTA commute, it's going to something. And also going to young adult fantasy romance novels, because I'm reading, I wish I had it in here, but I don't. Sorry guys. I'm reading a book, I think it's called A Court of Thorns and Roses. I don't actually read romance novels. I would say I like fantasy novels. I like fantasy and sci-fi like a lot, but I don't really read romance novels, and I guess I read fantasy less than I read like science fiction. This is gonna be like a really long video. I'm gonna wrap this up in like 5 minutes. I really don't want to edit this video, so in terms of my editing skills from the last video, I did edit everything myself. I don't remember what program I used because it was on my ex's computer. It was pretty easy to do. I remember it being like a pretty easy program to use. I'm sure that most of that has escaped me in terms of like what I learned. Like muscle memory might be there. Maybe if I like found it and opened it up, I'd be like, oh, I remember how you click on this and you do that. But I'm probably going to be looking for a video editing software that works for me, that is cost effective or free. If anyone has any recommendations, can you leave them down here in the comment section? That would be great. Because yeah, I probably will start to get into this more whenever I have time. I'd love to get a better camera. I actually do have like a good quality camera. I have like a DSLR camera, but it doesn't really focus very well. Like if you're doing video, it kind of cuts it off sometimes. Like after a certain amount of minutes, it'll like cut into it, and then, you know, you go back to it and you're like, oh, I couldn't see my facial features in this whole video. And yeah, I guess you might call into question how, you know, great my camera is, but it's actually like very old. It's a DSLR camera, but it's like maybe 10 years old. So yeah, once upon a time I wanted to do photography like as a profession, and you know, once I was there, I went to I started out going to Kingsborough, for those of you that are local here, and they have like an art major where you could focus on photography. And I did that. That's actually what I did for my associate's degree. I was a fine arts photography concentration major, and I learned how to develop film. I took pictures in digital and, you know, black and white, and I developed my own film and prints, and, you know, I had some really good ones, I would say, but I had a lot of room to go. A lot of work ahead of me, and I was also working like a part-time job throughout part of that, and then I think a full-time job after some of college. So I didn't really have the time to dedicate to this, which is unfortunate, but I don't think it resonated with me as much, and I chose a different direction. So, you know, I don't have necessarily any regrets about that, because I can always pick up a camera and say, hey, let me mess with this today, let me experiment, let me learn something. That's always an option to me. What is not an option to me is a paycheck that I like from my photos. I think it's probably challenging to actually do that, and takes dedication that I just didn't have that passion for that. I digress though. Some other things I have in the works is Comic-Con is coming up. For those of you that don't know, I am a nerdy fuck. And I can't wait for Comic-Con. This is reminding me of like a very funny thing that happened recently. So, yes, I shop at Hot Topic. They actually have a lot of cool shit these days, and I kind of like them, and they're right nearby here. I bought a suit, like a jumpsuit for like Fallout, Fall 111 on the back, blue and yellow and all that good stuff. And apparently it was on sale. It was like very cheap, like less than $10, and it used to be like like maybe $56 or something ridiculous like that, and it was $10. So I was like, oh, fuck it, this will fit fine, I'll make it work. I didn't check the size. It's an extra large. It looks like a full-size guy, like with muscles and shit, could fit into this thing perfectly, but for me it's like, hello, my jumpsuit's a little too big. Maybe I'll take a picture of that and like share it online because it's kind of funny, but I absolutely love Fallout and the Fallout series, so I'm gonna keep it, and I don't even know if I could have returned it after taking it out of the packaging and it being a sale item. Side note, I am very excited for Fallout 76. I don't know how the whole online thing is going to work. I know that they're going to release the beta sometime in October. I haven't really looked into any further updates on that. But, I mean, I'd love to be part of the beta. I don't think, I mean, it may or may not happen. I have a pre-order of the game. But maybe I also don't want to be part of the beta because I don't really want to deal with all the bugs and glitches. But turning back to Comic-Con, I might do like a Fallout cosplay for that. But I am definitely planning on doing a cosplay from Tokyo Ghoul. I actually did this last year, however, I began creating a scythe, the scythe that I am gonna botch this name, but it's like Juzo, it's Juzo. The guy that's fucking crazy, if you've seen it. He has white hair, at least in the earlier seasons, and then I think he has like black hair in either like some of the comics or the manga or whatever it is. But he's like batshit crazy. He has like stitches running up his arms and like here and like wherever the fuck else. I've done the cosplay before. It came out like pretty good, I would say, but he has this giant scythe that he uses to try and kill two of these other ghouls at some point towards the end of either season 1 or season 2. I don't know what other scenes it might be in, but it's massive. Like, I mean, it's like literally almost as tall as me, like the scythe piece. Like, I would say it's about, like, I'm sitting in a chair right now, maybe like for like contrast you can't really tell, but it'd be at least like 4 feet off the floor. I've already built part of it. I've already got like the scythe piece, but I have a lot of work to do on it. I need to do like some more paper mache. I need to kind of secure it. I need to attach it to the handle, the pole. I need to paint it, and it's a project, but it's something I'm working on, and I'm hoping to finish by early October when Comic-Con is. And in case you're wondering, I will be there on Friday and Saturday if you want to meet up with me at any point, if anyone wants to meet up. Hoping to be there bright and early, but I'm not really a bright and early person, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll do like Fallout cosplay one day and then Chuzo the other day. Can't tell which day to do the crazy scythe one. I'm thinking maybe I'll do it Saturday, and then like Friday I'll just go and find all the things that I like want to be like, oh, these are my new favorite items ever. I'm actually gonna look for like a new poster or a few posters or wall scrolls and stuff like that. Haven't looked at what panels are up yet. I think they have like a schedule going now. It's really getting close, so I imagine they probably released a schedule. So that's up and coming. Other things that I have coming up is I'm going to see 9 Inch Nails soon, which I am also very excited about. I've never seen them. So that will be a fun experience. And then also seeing V&V Nation and Division. in November. I'm also seeing She Wants Revenge. I got tickets for like $10 or $15. I don't know what happened, but there was some weird sale, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll spend $10 to go see this band. All right. I've liked them for years, but I don't really know what new stuff they might have. I'm also going to like a work conference trip in Houston at the end of this year, so I will be doing that, and then if I can swing it financially, I will be taking a bus to Austin, which is like, apparently Houston and Austin, they're like 3-hour drive apart, not even. Spending a few days in Austin, and also I really want to go to New Orleans. That's the one that I'm like, can I afford this? Because I'll have to pay for additional flight and hotel. I found like some really crazy Airbnbs. If anyone wants to like look at the crazy Airbnbs, like I'm telling you, like this is like the kind of shit where you're like, oh, I want to stay there. Oh my god, it's beautiful. I fell into a hole for literally like 6 hours looking up Airbnbs. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna front, guys. It was amazing. Like there's like one room that was like red, like everything red, like extravagant, like a giant beautiful bed. There's like another place that like, I think it's called like a holistic house or something, and it's like everything has like plants everywhere, and this like extravagant, like you come up like there's like 2 staircases on like either side, and there's like all these like tiles, and like it looks like a mansion, like, and like each room has like these really pretty baths, and I don't like, I'm trying to think of like this aesthetic, like it's not like bohemian, it's more like if you were to go to like a really upscale spa, or like somewhere that resonates with like a lot of nature-y things, that place looked like amazing. I'm like, oh, I really want to stay here. And then the one that I'm like really probably set on is like, the whole apartment looks like a circus sideshow goth, like, I don't even know, like their kitchen is like purple walls and like black like countertops and cabinets and everything, and they have all these like wacky posters and paintings and like knickknacks and stuff around, and like the bedrooms are like all goth looking, and like it's like, I want to live here. Can you like adopt me, please? I have a feeling that I will really like New Orleans more than anything, from what I know of the place, from what I can gather. So I'm like very excited to go there. So I'm going to try and make it work financially. The trouble is I also have to pay fees for the GRE and also for applying to grad school. Yay! And those things have to happen now. So, but if I don't go now, then I'll have to pay another couple $100 to fly from New York to New Orleans. So we'll see what happens. There was like one other thing I wanted to mention, and I don't remember what it was. Oh, I am going on this trip solo. I mean, I'm single, I'm not seeing anyone. I'd love to go with friends. I'd love to go with like a boyfriend or something, like that would always be nice, but I haven't really traveled much in my life. Yeah, and that doesn't mean I shouldn't do it. That doesn't mean I should sit at home and be like, oh, I never travel, woe is me. Like, I want to make it happen, even if I have to go to shady places in the French Quarter by myself. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do it and get out of my shell and like live. Like, I don't know how long I'll be in this world. Like, I could like not even make it till like December when I'm going on this trip for all I know, or I could live like 40 more years, who knows. But gotta use the time I have wisely, right? So I'm gonna do it. Yeah. Yeah, so those are some good things I have going on, and now this video is like so long, so I have given you tons of information, so do what you want with it. I'm like tired as fuck right now. I went to bed at like 3 in the morning and decided to wake up at 10:30, which for me is like not really enough on a Saturday. I actually require a lot of sleep as an individual. I don't really know why. I will probably, like, I mean, like, I could sit here and talk about all kinds of updates between January and September? God, it's like September. But those are the biggest ones. Maybe I'll film other shorter updates. Like, if you made it this far, this is like 40, we're going 40 minutes right now. You crazy. But, like, you know, sometimes I sit there and watch really long YouTube videos too. Or maybe you just like me enough to watch a video of me talking for 40 minutes. Yeah. If you have any ideas for me for videos, like, shoot them my way. If you have video software editing recommendations, send them my way. If you have camera recommendations, because I will probably look into, like, a camera that I could use for this, or maybe, I don't really know even how this works. It's something that you hook up to the computer so you could use your recording software. I guess I could just upload whatever videos, but whatever. If you have recommendations, send them my way. And if you have game recommendations, especially for the Switch, sorry, I'm playing with this comp, especially for the Switch, because I guess that's kind of what I want to focus on. Like, there's lots of games for the PlayStation that I want to buy and have in mind, but the Switch needs some love, so, I don't know. Let me know stuff, and I will record more stuff soon. Bye!